Hello, friends. Welcome back to yet another episode of Rajunotes, your weekly current affairs update. This week, we will do the updates from 12th of March to 19th of March. We all are aware of the recent conflict happening between Ukraine and Russia. We all have discussed in a separate video as to what are the major reasons for the same and what is the update. We have seen Russia using many types of weapons. They have been targeting the Ukrainian soldiers, but many civilians have died. The Operation Ganga project happened within India to evacuate the Indian citizens. There are many horrifying stories coming in, but also the fight is yet not over. And we have seen a lot of sanctions being imposed by all the European Union and the United States of America, but little dent has been made into the Russian, I must say, will to finish the fight. It is still going on. Amidst all this, maybe for the first time, the Ukrainian president Zelensky has said that now probably he realizes that he can't join NATO. Well, while speaking to the United Kingdom-led Joint Expeditionary Forces, Zelensky said this time in this week that he thought that he could, the doors to NATO were open, but now he realizes that it is no more possible. So this is what is Russia also wanting. Probably the Russia's aim has been achieved if the Ukrainian president says so. And probably now Zelensky has also realized the same, that it is making no headway, because on whose support he thought that he can take over Russia is not forthcoming. We have seen that the entire European Union and the United States, along with its ally, had just given a word of mouth, and that's about it as far as the conflict and the physical fight is concerned. Yes, they are supporting with many sanctions and other things, but I think probably in the modern day, hard power is also required. And well, this now will lead to a very important lesson for India. Number one, India should be Atmanirbhar as far as its weapon systems are concerned. And moreover, we have seen a disturbing trends coming in, and probably this week we also saw the OROP results also coming in. That is, the court has given an order and it has supported the government. And I think the armed forces have been kind of felt let down. This is exactly what happened in Ukraine, and also when the armed forces are for your external conflict, if you start degrading them in a time of a need, you will have to fall back to them, and that is when your morale of your armed forces has to be high. Probably this is a lesson. Are we going towards the such place where the Ukrainian was? Or this is a good debatable topic, whether the armed forces, is it necessary in context of India, or can we do away with armed forces and probably do with some other kind of a security service? A big question to think about, but certainly Atmanirbhar is what is essential. While India, we have slowly started getting back to our normals. We are slowly opening up all the gatherings at all places. Malls are being opened, movie theaters are running on, everything is opening. A stealth Omicron variant has kind of created a havoc at China. And China, who has generally kept everything under secret and has not let out the words generally out to the world media, has openly started saying and sealing its own cities rather, I must say. And at least 10 cities have been locked down, including the Shenzhen, and which is the largest, which has about 17 million people. And we have seen that China is involving in extensive testing now for this stealth Omicron. And you will not believe that China, who was trying to make its own vaccination, has now kind of approved, given an emergency use for the American vaccine or the American pills for the Omicron variant. So that means it is really serious matter. I don't know when we will see this kind of a wave again of silent Omicron variety coming in. The silent or the stealth Omicron variant is also called as BA.2 variant, and this is supposed to be 1.5 times more transmissible than the original Omicron. We saw that Omicron was more transmissible, but this is super more transmissible than Omicron. And the initial report suggests that the individual or the person who is affected by the stealth Omicron does not reveal any kind of symptoms for this kind of a variant, and he just has a cardiac arrest and he passes off. So it's a very serious thing, and China is now seeing about 15,000 cases as of February 12th. So it is under lockdown. So does it mean that we also need to take some kind of a precaution now for the upcoming variant? God knows. But please use mask and don't become negligent as far as the virus is concerned. In a first, India is now proudly showing off its first rapid rail system, which will run on the Delhi, Ghaziabad and Meerut corridor. This is a total of 82 kilometers distance, which will be covered by this train, that is rapid rail, in just about 55 minutes. This has been unveiled in the National Capital Region Transport Corporation, that is NCRTC. You can see the picture. This is a RRTS kind of a system which will have 2x2 transverse seating with overhead luggage racks, something like an aircraft, and CCTV cameras, socket for every laptop, mobile charging, and other things. The train will have about 14 stops. So rapid rail railway systems are good to cover between the two major cities outside. So let's see how well which other cities can take over. But yes, that means India's first rapid rail is now very much on work. Indian government, after 2 years of suspending over the COVID-19 outbreak, has started restoring the 5 years e-tourist visas which were given to citizens of 156 countries, and it was opened on Wednesday. It also restored the paper visas given to nationals of all the countries with immediate effect. Again, I was just discussing in the first part that with the Chinese stealth Omicron variant now creating a havoc in the country, does India need to open up all its thing? Question mark. Again, a debatable point. Should India be in such lockdowns? Should we take a hit on our economy, or we should be careful and think about some things through which we can continue both our trade as well as take care of our health issues? Well, that is again a debatable point, so you should be aware of it. United Nations Security Council this Thursday had voted to establish formal ties with the Taliban-run Afghanistan. It's a very big thing. It's a very big news coming in, actually. Afghanistan, as we know, is yet to be recognized globally. However, with United Nations Security Council voting to establish a formal ties with Taliban, it is kind of now US trying to proxyly giving a recognition to the Taliban. In one way it is good also, in one way it is bad, yet a debatable. Questions can be asked. You can be asked in an interview like this as to this step by United Nations Security Council to recognize a regime of Taliban, is it in good or in favor of the world order, or is it not? Whatever it is, but one point certainly we can be aware of is that this Taliban, the regime which has come in the present, has certainly changed, or rather shown more sensitivity, I must say, towards the women folk than the last one what we saw, wherein public executions were being carried out for every small and trivial issues. So I hope, and let's pray that even if it's Taliban, but if it is going democratically in Afghanistan, it should be good for us. And India's ties with Taliban, yes or no, again a debatable point, but India should maintain its relations with Afghanistan for its trade and economy also. The next news which I'm about to share, it exactly felt like what Ukraine did. Now, the Kosovo's president, Josa Osmani, has written to US counterpart Joe Biden requesting him to use the United States' influence to help Kosovo join NATO amidst the Ukraine war. See, the exact reason why Putin had invaded Ukraine is the same thing what now Kosovo is trying to do. Well, Kosovo is rather still now under the NATO troop control. NATO troops have been guarding Kosovo, and we know that Kosovo declared independence from Siberia in 2008. Russia still now doesn't recognize Kosovo as a sovereign state, and it only says that it is like Ukraine, it is also a breakaway region. So, is Kosovo again heading for trouble? Is it putting United States again under a pressure? Is it a good move, bad move? Again, time will decide. But yes, another flare-up point is now Kosovo. Well, the next news, I will not say get into much controversies. We all are aware of this movie Kashmir Files, which has been shown all around the country. It is garnering a lot of importance. It is rather this week's most talked of on the internet because of the various reasons, kind of atrocities were committed and people saying yes and no about it. I'm not getting into that. Why I got this Kashmir Files thing in my update is that there are cyber criminals who are sending you a fake movie download links of Kashmir Files to the WhatsApp users. So my point of covering it is, in case if you receive any Kashmir Files download link, please do not click it. It's a malware which is installing onto the user phones when they click this fake link, and it is used to probably steal the user's bank details. So there are about 2-3 people who have already lost about 30 lakhs. It is just a request that be careful if you are wanting getting any kind of a link which says that to watch Kashmir Files on your mobile or download link or something. Just be careful on this file, on this movie link as much. While all this was going on, the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval co-chaired the second India-Indonesia Security Dialogue with Mohammad Mahfoud, coordinating ministers of the political, legal, and the security affairs. Well, there was a lot of discussion, including the cooperation in the counter-terrorism, maritime defense, and the cyber security. And one must understand the relations between India and Indonesia, because how we have to kind of get into the grips along with the periphery of China. We also know our India and Malaysia relationships. So how Indonesia has to be onto your side, it is the matter of importance. So one must be aware that this week something like this had happened with Indonesia. Again, a good news as far as the Atmanirbhar is concerned, but not only Atmanirbhar. This time, Bahrain has started talks with India for procurement of the Indian-made Arjun tanks Mark 1 Alpha. That is the main battle tank. We had last update, we had seen how the other eastern countries were interested in India's BrahMos, India's attack helicopter, and India's Tejas aircraft. Well, now coming on to the army part, the Bahrain is now trying to get into negotiations for the Indian-made Arjun Mark 1. Arjun Mark 1 has now qualified for many tests, and this time I think this tank can be equipped with the Israeli and Indian co-designed laser system, that is laser designation system. It becomes very effective. Bahrain is almost a semi-desert kind of a country, so tanks are very much suitable for that place. So if this deal goes through, again a very good success for India. Well, that's all, friends, in this week's update. I will see you next week. And before you close my video, if you are new to my channel or if you have been listening to me again and again, I will humbly request you take 1 second and click that subscribe button. It means a lot. Last video I have garnered a good amount of subscribers who had paid heed to my request. I'll request, if you are new, please do it, and if you are already a subscriber, please do tell your friends and let me spread this information more and more. Please be careful of the new variant Omicron. Use mask and keep sanitizing your hands. Thank you and take care.